Okay, this is video number 4. This is material we will do Chazara on Mirz Hashem on Sunday, January the 5th. But here you have it on the video as well. Okay, so we come to the Gemara and a major sugya in the Gemara, and there'll be a lot of questions regarding the sugya, is Shomer Avedah. Shomer Avedah basically means someone that goes ahead and finds something. So we learned that a person has a responsibility to take care of the object until the owner can be found. So the question is, during that time that he's taking care of the object, what is his level of responsibility? Rabba Amar Kashomer Chinadame. Rabba says that the Shomer Avedah, the finder of the lost object, has a responsibility like a person that does somebody else a favor when he watches something. So Shomer Chinam, we said that if we had a chart on the board, if he's a posheya, his negligence is going to be responsible. But if it's stolen or he just disappears, he can't find it, there's no for sure that it was stolen, Avedah, then he's going to be patur. And this Shomer Avedah, listen, he's being a nice guy, he's being a good Samaritan, he's going ahead and he's picking something up off the street, and therefore he's a Shomer Chinam. Rav Yosef Amar, Rav Yosef Kashomer Sachatami. No, he has a higher level of responsibility. He's going to have the same responsibility as someone who got paid for watching the object, and therefore, if it's stolen or just can't be found, he's going to be responsible to pay. So the Gemara explains. Rabba Amar Kashomer Rabba says he's like a Shomer Chinam. What benefit does he get from going ahead and watching this object, taking care of this object? So therefore, he's doing it totally as just to be a good guy, as do a favor for the other guy, and therefore his responsibility should be one of a Shomer Chinam. Rav Yosef Amar Kashomer Sachatami. So he says, no, the guy's getting something. What is he getting? By this enjoyment, that if at the same time that he's taking care of the Avedah, imagine it's an animal that needs care and he's busy caring for the animal, and all of a sudden a poor person shows up at the door and wants a piece of bread. At that particular point, the person has no responsibility to give the ani a piece of bread, because the hosek ba mitzvah potur min mitzvah. If I'm busy doing one mitzvah, I have no obligation to do the second mitzvah. Therefore, Rav Yosef says this is called pruta. Rav Yosef, that's how it's known as. You're saving a pruta. Havei kashomer sachar. You're being like a shomer sachar. Some explain Rav Yosef as follows. And please listen carefully. Rav Yosef Amar Kashomer Sachadami. Rav Yosef says he's like a Shomer Sachar. Kivan derachman ashi abdei. Since the Torah has obligated him to go ahead and to take this object in and to take care of it, even against his will. Therefore, it's considered Shomer Sachar because the Torah has placed this obligation upon him. And again, since it's coming from the outside, it's not that he's just deciding, I'm going to be a good guy, but it's a mitzvah in the Torah is taking his obligation. And maybe this is what the first part of Rav Yosef means as well. From the fact that he's called an osek ba mitzvah, right? He doesn't give the ani any money because he's an osek ba mitzvah. So we see that he is given a higher level of responsibility because he is busy doing a mitzvah. This is not just, just something that he's doing out of his own volition, and so much so a mitzvah that if the second mitzvah comes along, namely the Yani's knocking at the door, you can say to the Yani, sorry, I can't give you tzedakah now. I'm busy taking care of the Avedah. So this is a very, 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 very basic machloket. So on this idea of osek ba mitzvah patur min mitzvah, we did a little bit of iyun. We went into it a little bit deeper. And this is what you need to know for the test. First of all, 9, Shomer Avedah, we know what that means. Someone who finds an Avedah, finds a lost object, and is now responsible to take care of that object until the owner can be found. What are the two opinions regarding the status of the Shomer Avedah, and what is the reason for each opinion? You have Rabbah says, what enjoyment, what benefit is the guy getting from watching over the Avedah? Therefore, he's Shomer Chinam, and therefore he is not going to be responsible for Gneva if it's stolen. And Rav Yosef says, no, he is getting something. When that enjoyment, that benefit, he doesn't have to give a piece of bread to an ani at that particular point. Havei kashomer sachar is considered like a shomer sachar. In other words, he's doing a mitzvah, and that mitzvah gives him a higher level of obligation, and he's responsible if the item is going to be stolen. Now, so we had a machloket between the Tosfot and Ran. Under what circumstances do we go ahead and say that if you're doing mitzvah A, you need not to go ahead and do mitzvah B? Everyone agrees, everyone is in total agreement that it doesn't mean any time that I happen to have the Avodah in my house. I can imagine I'm taking care of somebody's, I found a wallet, and I have it in the house for a week. I'm not called an osek ba mitzvah because I take the wallet, I put it in a drawer, I lock it up, and I don't have to think about it. So I'm not osek ba mitzvah, even though at this particular point I may be being mekayem a mitzvah. I am observing a commandment. Same thing because I put up a mezuzah in my house, and now I'm doing the mitzvah mezuzah. It doesn't make me patur from one mitzvah. It's certainly only when I'm busy with mitzvah A. Now the question is, how busy? According to Tosfot, I'm busy with mitzvah A to the extent that I am unable to do mitzvah B. Just if I'm going to go ahead and do mitzvah B, I'm going to have to, be mevater. I'm going to have to forgive mitzvah A. As you can imagine that if I'm in the middle of taking care of the animal needs my care now, and all of a sudden I'm going to run off and do mitzvah B, mitzvah A is going to be left in the lurch there. It's not going to get done. And that's why in ha'osek ba mitzvah potur min mitzvah. Whereas according to the Ran, he says that, no, maybe I can do mitzvah B. But if I'm busy doing mitzvah A, even if it's possible for me to leave mitzvah A and to go ahead and do mitzvah B, I don't have to. I don't necessarily have to. As long as I'm busy, I'm busy doing mitzvah A, I don't have to leave mitzvah A alone, even if the possibility would be, okay, I could just leave it alone and do it 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. I need not. So what is the basis of this malchoket? This is very important, what we call in the world of Torah lamdas, of understanding the position of each of these Rishonim. So Tosfot is made, and this is what the Rav Kanievsky, Chaim Kanievsky, who was passed away 2 years ago. This is his father, who's known in the Olam HaTorah as the Stipler. So Stipler wrote a series of Sfarim called Kilat Yaakov, and there he explains the following, that we have two concepts in halacha regarding, let's say, pikuach nefesh on Shabbat. So we discussed this in class. We all know the pikuach nefesh tochesh Shabbat. In order to save life, I'm allowed to be mechalel Shabbat. So the question is it dichuya, meaning that Shabbat is pushed aside? It's there, but it's just pushed aside because the emergency situation that I have to save a soul is more important, and therefore I'm pushing Shabbat over to the side and sort of like ignoring some of the things. Or is it hutra? Once I'm doing pikuach nefesh, it's not Shabbat anymore. Right now, for these next half hour, it's not Shabbat. Then all the laws of Shabbat just fall by the wayside. It's not that they're there and I'm ignoring it, but rather they're not there anymore. So one is called dichuya. Litchot means to be pushed aside. One is called hutra. Hutra from the word mutar. It's totally allowed. It's not there. It's released. It's not there at all. So that may be the machloket between Tosfos and the Ran as well. Tosfos says, "Osek ba mitzvah potur min mitzvah." When I'm doing mitzvah A, I need not do mitzvah B, but it's tuchiyah. Mitzvah B is pushed aside. It's there, but it's pushed aside. So therefore, good to Tosfot. If I can leave mitzvah A and do mitzvah B, that's what I have to do. I'll come back to mitzvah A later. Now, if it's the type of thing I'm putting up a mezuzah, and I can leave it for a second. I can go ahead and give the tzedakah. I can't say I'm putting up a mezuzah now because the mitzvah tzedakah is there. I can leave that for a second. I leave it on the table whenever I'm using to put up the mezuzah. I'll go give the tzedakah. I'll come back to the mezuzah. It's going to be there 3 minutes later. Point to the Ran. No. If I'm osek by mitzvah, the second mitzvah doesn't exist. At this particular point, I have no mitzvah at all to give the tzedakah. And so, osek ba mitzvah potur min mitzvah, according to the Ran, it's mutar, it's hutra, and therefore I have no obligation to go ahead and to do it at all. That's a very, very basic machloket. According to Tosfot, when does this rule apply? Is when I'm unable to do mitzvah B. According to the Ran, when does this rule apply? When I'm busy with mitzvah A. Even if I could put mitzvah A on the side and go to mitzvah B, I need not. The reasoning behind each opinion, as we just said, that according to Tosfot, that it's very possible that Hosei mitzvah is tichuya. The second mitzvah is pushed aside, but it's there. And therefore, if I can drop everything and do it, I should still be doing it. Whereas according to the Ran, he feels differently. He feels that it's sutra, that when I'm doing mitzvah A, mitzvah B doesn't exist. And therefore, once I'm busy mitzvah A, I don't have to make any effort to go ahead, any extra effort to go ahead and to do mitzvah B. We'll continue in a couple of minutes.